world population these days? And they said, oh, slightly over 300 million. And I looked at him and I said, world population? He said, yes, world population. So the U.S. is now down around 50 million or less. There's no government left acting on the face of the earth intact. They had all crumbled sometime between the period of 2000 and, as he told me, 2025. Martial law was set in almost all these areas. There was a combination of, and historically speaking, of a nuclear war, World War III, that was considered a rather brief World War III, but a lot of destruction, and then there was natural earth changes, which were more destructive than the war.
So, Bielek, you just heard it, between 2000 and 2025. And here we are, 2022. If you look at our current status, our current situation, we're almost in the brink of World War III. These tensions between East and West. Again, when you watch this, you have to watch it with an open mind. I don't think he's lying. Obviously, something happened to him on that ship called the Eldridge, where they were experimenting time travel. Actually, they were really not looking for a time travel. What they were trying to do on this ship called the Eldridge, it's a naval, U.S. Navy ship back in 1940s. They were trying to figure out technology, how to camouflage and keep the ship invisible and off the radar. So that way the Germans, Nazis couldn't pick it up, or the Japanese couldn't pick it up. So they hired, Nikola Tesla and some other scientists to work on this. And he was part of that, experiment called Philadelphia experiment. He was a sailor. Him and Duncan were sailors. And there was a freak accident that happened where both of them ended up in this, portal that opened up, and they got sucked right into it. And next thing you know, while they're falling and falling, after about 10-15 minutes, they passed out while they're falling through this portal. After they pass out, they wake up in this hospital. And when they wake up in this hospital, they notice that things are different than what they were in 1940s. We don't have these kind of hospital beds. We don't have these kind of windows. And we don't have, what is that? Some square thing, very thin. It looks like a colored window, but it's a TV. And, so a lot of this stuff in 2137, they ended up in 2137. And they ended up in the hospital. He ended up in the hospital along with his friend Duncan. They were both sailors in the 1940s. They ended up in the hospital because they suffered a major radiation burns. When they got sucked into this portal, you can only imagine the kind of radiation they had to go through to travel to 2137. Now, you can believe this, you can dismiss it, don't dismiss it. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just here to share something that I have researched, and you make up your own mind. You make up your own judgment. So before I finish this video, I want to rewind this again. I want you to listen to it and make your own judgment.
Airlines travel. And I happened to ask, what's the world population these days? And they said, oh, slightly over 300 million. And I looked at him and I said, world population? He said, yes, world population. So the U.S. is now down around 50 million or less. There's no government left acting on the face of the earth intact. They had all crumbled sometime between the period of 2000 and, as he told me, 2025. Martial law was set in almost all these areas. There was a combination of, and historically speaking, of a nuclear war, World War III, that was considered a rather brief World War III, but a lot of destruction, and then there was natural earth changes, which were more destructive than the war. Between all of those, there was a great loss of life, a loss of government, a loss of transportation, and of course with that you have starvation and other problems. And it went continually downhill from about 2000.
So anyway, you make up your own mind. You know, he did mention 2020. This is what he was told. 2025. Now, they gave him, he only remembers a rough number, which is between 2000 and 2025. And he, you know, he did say after 2025, that's where this World War III happens, and that's where this earth changes start occurring, along with the cataclysmic earth shift changes, which is natural disasters, earthquakes, etc., the great floods. He says it wasn't really so much affected by the war. It was really affected by the natural disasters. But having the you know, nuclear war and these natural disasters play together definitely contribute to depopulation. You know, you can't grow any food. You know, you can't create any medicine. You can't have any infrastructure because of radiation. You have to live underground, and on top of that, you got natural disasters, the floodings, etc., etc. So, pretty scary stuff. Again, make up your own minds. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope he's wrong, but this is what he was told in 2137. So, I hope that this doesn't happen. You know, but it's pretty scary stuff when you look at today's events, the tensions between East and West, and we might end up in a World War III between Russians and U.S. and the Western allies, and of course probably will, you know, China will get sucked into it, and North Korea will get sucked into it to support Russia. So East and West conflict, which could lead to a nuclear war. A brief nuclear war, if you will. I hope it doesn't happen, but looking at our today's situation and what's going on today, this becomes more relevant than ever. Again, make up your own minds, guys. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm just here to share what I have researched about Bielek. And I think if anyone traveled, I think he would be the most articulate and the most plausible time traveler out of all the time travelers out there who claim that they have time traveled. Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave your own thoughts, your own comments. Let me know what you think.